I do not like the battle rifle.
I know this is a hot take because all across the internet I've seen the battle rifle praised over and over again as peak weapon design. This statement always confused me because from my many hours spent playing Halo and my many hours spent using the battle rifle, I never really liked it. Let's get into why.
Before we begin, I'd like to clarify that most of what I talk about in this video will be using the Halo 3 battle rifle as a reference point. Most of what I talk about will be applicable to the other battle rifles as well, but I'm using this just to standardize things and so I don't have to go back and record footage for 5 different Halo games. The battle rifle is not a bad weapon. It is too good, and that's where the problems lie.
First, we need to understand why the battle rifle exists. Let's go back to before the battle rifle. Let's go back to Halo CE.
In Halo Combat Evolved, the primary mid-range option was the Magnum. The Magnum was extremely powerful, fun, and satisfying to use. However, there was a big problem. It wasn't really a pistol. It felt more like a rifle. The Magnum would then evolve into the battle rifle as Halo 2 came around, as the Magnum became a piece of shit. The battle rifle is a mid to long range powerhouse that demolishes enemies with its 3-round burst. With 36 rounds, that gives you 12 bursts per mag. Its iconic silhouette has persisted throughout almost every Halo game following Halo 2, and it remains a keystone weapon in the Halo sandbox today. There's only one problem with all this. It's not fun. Before we talk about that, let's get into some statistics. As previously stated, the battle rifle is a 3-round burst weapon that, at least in Halo 3, kills in 7 body shots. Or 4 headshots. Now, these stats may not seem very impressive, and they're not. The kill time is pretty comparable to a lot of the other spawn weapons in the game, like the assault rifle or SMG. However, that's not where I have my problems. My problems are with the range. The battle rifle has an effectively infinite range and no bloom, so as long as you can get your crosshair lined up, you will be able to hit and kill the enemy. ER spawns ruin certain maps. I'm going to assume something here and presume that a majority of older Halo multiplayer maps were designed without the battle rifle in mind. Specifically, maps with large open spaces, considering that in Halo 2 SMG spawns were standard and that design philosophy likely would have carried over into Halo 3. Maps like High Ground or Avalanche, which are perfectly fine with AR starts, start to crumble as soon as you add battle rifles into the mix, due to the lack of cover in a lot of the open areas of the map, along with a high number of potential sightlines. Even if these maps were designed with the battle rifle in mind, they clearly weren't designed well, because although I find these maps pretty fun in normal gameplay, once you add battle rifles into the mix, these maps can become hell. Let's use the previously mentioned High Ground as an example of what I mean. In normal AR starts, this map can be extremely dynamic and allow for a lot of team play. Let's say you're playing the enemy team, and you and your friend decide to go up the right lane. Now the enemy team would have to match you or flank you from behind. They could also throw grenades into the passageway, or fire a rocket, or a lot of other options. Now, as soon as you add battle rifles, the gameplay looks a little something like this. Not very interesting, huh? That tends to be how most encounters go on maps like these. That is, until one team manages to close the distance, at which point most or all of the players will die, and the cycle repeats. It almost feels like you're both firing muskets at the enemy team on like a Revolutionary War battlefield, and that's not very fun. Now, that's of course assuming that the enemy team has proper coordination, which 9 times out of 10 they won't. So, what about games where it's a bunch of randos and the match is just a bunch of 1v1s happening all over the map? Well, in that case, there's usually one of 2 scenarios that happens in almost every fight. Option A. In close range, one or both of the players has the battle rifle equipped. Now, neither of them are anticipating the fight, so whoever has the faster trigger finger, or whoever swaps to the assault rifle first, will usually wind up winning. Option B. At long range, the 2 players spot each other, and whoever fires first and gets the first headshot will usually win, and they shoot at each other until they're dead. These are boring. almost every encounter with battle rifles goes similar ways no matter the map with little variation. Scenarios like the ones I just mentioned with ARs or shotguns or snipers or rockets or almost any other weapon in the game would go entirely differently and with so much variation depending on the map and what the player's loadout is, but almost every encounter with the battle rifle goes one of those two ways. That brings me to a similar point. Let's talk about grenades. There is no reason to ever use grenades in a battle rifle fight. At a close to medium range, player A, who is not throwing grenades, can easily dodge and avoid the grenades of player B, while firing back at the same time, leading to a swift death for player B. While at long range, where the battle rifle excels, the grenade can be easily dodged. There is a bit of an exception, as sticky grenades can be used pretty effectively in close to mid ranges, but it takes quite a lot of skill and luck to land, and it might not be worth the risk trying to hit the stick when the player shooting at you can still easily kill you. Now, since the battle rifle is so effective at mid to long ranges, there's really no reason to ever try and get close to somebody. You're perfectly free to just stay in a corner or stay across the map and pop heads. Now, if you were doing this with, let's say, a sniper rifle, an enemy player could kill you and you no longer have the sniper. But with the battle rifle, because you spawn with it in so many game modes, there is no consequence to dying, so you can just repeat the cycle of camping over and over again. It's the perfect camping tool. There is literally no reason to ever get into close quarters combat unless somebody ambushes you or surprises you, because it just means you're probably gonna die, or at least more likely to die than you would be if you engaged at a longer distance. Now, this is of course assuming that you're playing Slayer, so what about objective game modes? Yeah, the battle rifle sucks in objective games too. The battle rifle sucks in objective game modes, and it makes them such a slog. For one reason. The battle rifle makes carrier's job a living hell. Normally, the flag or ball carrier, or whatever the objective is, only has to worry about the obstacles and enemies are directly around them, and they can have the other teammates act as bodyguards to protect against these threats. The player with the battle rifle can easily outmaneuver and snipe the ball or flag carrier from across the map, while his teammates can do almost nothing to protect them unless they want to pull a "Get down, Mr. President," or quickly get to some cover. And if you've played Oddball especially, crouching in a corner is not effective and is a boring way to play the game. Additionally, the ball or flag carrier can't protect themselves in any way. Normally they can jam their balls down someone's throat and kill them, but with the battle rifle in play, there is no way that the carrier can get close enough to kill... That was a tongue twister. There is no way the carrier can get close enough to kill the player with the battle rifle before the battle rifle user shoots them. Now, why am I not making these same complaints about the sniper rifle? Well, it's for one simple reason. You don't spawn with snipers. Unless you're playing snipers, but that's a gimmick mode and we're talking serious business here. The ability to kill anyone on any range should be limited to 1 or 2 players per map, and the sniper rifle is limited. There's only 1 or 2 on each side. The sniper feels way more skilled than the battle rifle does. Whenever you get killed by a nice crisp headshot, it doesn't feel like a bullshit kill. It feels like, you know, the enemy player earned that instant headshot. Plus, there's the downtime in between shots and the limited ammo capacity, and overall the sniper is a lot more balanced than the battle rifle ever was. Except for in Halo 2, the sniper is fucking nuts in that game. Plus, I mean, come on, how can you be mad at this sound? It's so good.
Now, I'm sure I know what you're thinking by now. Skilly you, bro. And hey, my KD is very respectable, but kinda right. The battle rifle is a very high skill ceiling and high skill floor weapon, which is where we get into my next point.
The battle rifle alienates new players. Now, I'm well aware that there hasn't been a new Halo 3 player in at least a decade, but for the sake of my argument, let's pretend that a new Halo multiplayer game came out, like, tomorrow instead of in 15 years or whenever Halo Studios plans to release the next one. And let's say you've convinced your friends who have never played Halo before to play Halo for the first time. Now, what do you think their experience is gonna be like? Well, it's gonna be something like this. So, you know, maybe not the best entrance into the Halo franchise. Any new players are going to be demolished by 20-year veterans using this incredibly overpowered weapon, but when the new players go to use it themselves, well, it'll look something like this. Now, this is not a good way to entice players to keep playing your game. It really does just kind of enforce that Halo is for people who have been playing Halo since they were little, and not for any newcomers. And I would know what it was like being a newcomer, because I was once that kid. You know, I used to be dog shit at this game, and I went through the same experience with the battle rifle as I've described. And I still do deal with the battle rifle and my frustrations with it. I mean, that's why I'm making this video. I mean, I'm nowhere near the skill level of people who no-life this game. I mean, holy shit, have you seen what some people do with this game?
This looks good. Yep. Yes! Good shit!
Nice.
Oh!
I can't do any of that shit. So, unless you're equally skilled with the battle rifle as the people killing you are, the entire game might fall apart for you and it might become really unfun. The battle rifle is a keystone weapon and a big part of the sandbox, and when it doesn't work, the entire game can crumble. And, you know, I'd hate to see Halo lose any new players because of a single weapon, you know? I want to see this game and franchise keep growing and improving, but, you know, little things like this can add up and really lower the quality of the experience. I don't think the battle rifle should be removed entirely. You know, it still has its place in the sandbox, but I just don't think it should be a spawn weapon. Except for in game modes like SWAT, but, you know, SWAT sucks, so who cares, you know? In objective game modes, and in Slayer, and in all the little funny game modes, it shouldn't be a spawn weapon. It should be reserved for, you know, having a couple around the map sometimes. But nothing more than that. Now, my last point here is very subjective, but I don't know, I just think the battle rifle sounds and feels kinda wimpy, a little bit like a BB gun. You know, Halo is a game with usually very strong sound design, and the battle rifle sticks out to me because it doesn't really feel nearly as powerful as it should. You know, it feels like I said, like you're shooting a BB gun, instead of the powerhouse that it is. The firing animations, too, are just really stiff. You know, the reloads are fine because it's shared with the assault rifle, but, you know, it just feels pretty stiff and weak. Now, obviously, the sounds and the animations and all that change every game, and I think the Halo Infinite battle rifle is really strong, sound design-wise, but, you know, for its most famous incarnations, Halo 2 and Halo 3, especially Halo 4, you know, it doesn't sound... it's not up to quality. It's not nearly as good as it should be, compared to weapons like the sniper and the rocket launcher and stuff like that, which are, I mean, peak examples of sound design in all their appearances. Well, how would I fix the battle rifle? The solution already exists, and it's called the DMR. Yeah, I think the DMR from Reach onwards drastically improved on the battle rifle's design philosophy, and is a much superior weapon, and it probably should have replaced it fully. I mean, I'm glad the DMR can continue to show up in future Halo games, but it really should have completely replaced it, honestly. The single-shot format feels more skilled and fair, And the bloom makes it so it's not a complete powerhouse at long ranges, and it makes it comfortably strong in mid-range where it should be instead of being a demon at every range. This also applies to the Covenant Carbine, which I much prefer over the Battle Rifle in Halos 2 and 3. Plus, I think the DMR sounds great in all of its appearances, and I think that both the Battle Rifle and DMR shouldn't be in one game. You know, it just bloats the sandbox and really, you know, makes it kind of pointless. I mean, especially when you look at Infinite, there's the DMR, and the Battle Rifle, and the Carbine, and the Shock Rifle, and the Stalker Rifle, all of which kind of serve the same purpose, so it just feels like there's far too many options there. So, when the next Halo multiplayer game comes around, I really hope they just stick with the DMR and the Carbine, because they're pretty much perfect, instead of continuing the lineage of the insanely busted Battle Rifle. Hey guys, thanks for watching. This was my first, I guess, long-form scripted video. Sorry if it was a little janky, the editing was a bit all over the place, you know, some of the audio might be a little off. You know, I'm still kind of getting used to editing videos, so, you know, it wasn't fully there with my style and everything, and I did this over the course of, like, a few weeks, and I took long breaks in between, so there was some issues there, but, you know, I tried really hard on this. Sorry if all my points didn't get across perfectly. It was kind of just me rambling a lot of the time, but, you know, I tried really hard on this. I hope you guys liked it. Let me know if you want to see more stuff like this in the future, and subscribe to keep seeing Gay Wave content.